Down. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hello,
What's up?
hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Night, guys.
Sarah Delay. Hi,
Hi.
girl.
I came up. I'm good. What's
How are
up?
you? Nothing, nothing.
For Kaylin?
Chilling. I said just chilling.
Say
I've been doing my son all
again?
night. I said I've been doing my
Okay,
son's
got you.
hair.
The static's a little word on my end because you're coming in and out.
Yeah.
I was asking you if we're waiting for Kaylin
Hey,
now.
is that
It'll
better?
probably catch itself.
No, well, what it is I was on the wrong
Mm-hmm.
connection in my house. Because, like, in different areas, I've got to connect to the router and then
Yeah.
connect to
My
the actual
service is horrible, so I get it. It's very
modem.
choppy.
And I remember once doing this interview, and she was like, well, where do you live? I'm like, what's
I know,
that?
it's like we pay so much money and the mediocrity is real. Seriously.
It's
What we
real.
paid for these connections.
You hear me?
Yep,
Because
I
I've
hear
got
you
my
fine.
earphones in tonight. All right. All right, cool. So I don't see, let me see if I see Kaylin. I spoke to her yesterday, so I know
Mm-hmm.
she is
Maybe she's just
coming.
a few minutes behind.
I know. Well, you know what? Like, obviously, I'm pretty sure everybody's used to the time change now.
Is everybody?
At least I would like to think so.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
still
about a
struggling
week or
in the
two.
mornings. Well, my kids are.
Yeah,
My kids are still struggling, and
yes, yeah.
it
My
is
son
what it
too.
is, right?
It's
Hi,
sucky, but
Charles. Yeah. I well, I want to just kind of, I'm not going to jump right into it because I am going to jump right into it, but I just wanted to say, this is, this is non-ethical monogamy. I wasn't even calling it that before I saw the
right.
Omarion interview.
I don't like him anymore. Like, boy, bye. I was also disappointed that well, not disappointed because he cursed in the big scheme of things, but I do remember seeing the guy that the other one, the is it Cart? What's his name?
Neo?
His name is his name Boris? The other one in the video, the one that they were actually talking about. What's his
Neo?
name?
That guy. I can't remember his
Right, and
name, but
he
I
was
know
in
his
that
face. I know who
Oprah.
you're
He was
talking
one
about.
of
Yes.
Oprah's series. He was in a show talking about that. Like that was actually one of his. That was his role. where he was telling the lady that he prefers to have an open relationship and that sort of thing. So it's just interesting that he actually that's his real life.
That's how he
I saw
lives.
this a few weeks
That's
ago.
a real life.
Yeah,
That's not a
I
role
mean
for him,
typical,
right?
but to see that it's actually, yeah, that's him live and live, yeah, in the flash.
Yeah. I see Kaylin came on, and it keeps saying she's on. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's one of those things where I think more and more people are like coming out with it. Definitely in the pearls on Naughty Kitty, and I know it is because like this has been around forever.
Hmm.
We'll be here after we
Yeah,
go. um, but I know that me personally, I just want to jump off the bat and say like I actually
me too.
enjoy monogamy. Like I
Absolutely.
enjoy one person. That is just my preference. I I think marriage was like,
Hmm.
a no-brainer for me because
Right.
I grouped the two together. Although, but this is just my personal, how I feel, and and yeah, like my marriage is built on monogamy, plus other things, but
Well, yeah, that's one of the
definitely,
pillars.
definitely, yeah, definitely one of the pillars. But I also know that
Hmm.
everything isn't for everybody, and and so that's why I can, um, I'm open to discuss it. I'm open to learn about it. Um, just like, you know, I like to learn about everything else surrounding love, sex, and relationships, and how we're all so different. And like I said, what works for
Right.
them just works for them.
Absolutely.
Because I know what works for
Exactly.
me. Um, and then you have all these other things that with the man. Like I find a lot of men say like it's just natural for a guy to want more.
Return.
That's always like a go-to thing for guys. Um, Kaylin just requested. Hold on. That's just like a go-to thing for guys, and I don't believe it's like a cop out, but I wish.
Hi guys.
Hey!
I was having some technical difficulties. How are you
How are you?
guys?
Good.
Congratulations.
Tuning
We're
in. Good
good.
evening, everyone.
Yes. For those of you that are heard Kaylin got
Ooh,
engaged. We
it's a
have a fiance.
fiance.
It's a
Thank
fiance.
thank
Yes.
you.
For real,
Black
for real.
love. We are celebrating it. We are
Okay, so
definitely celebrating
where you
it.
guys on the
So,
topic? What part are you guys at? What you been talking about?
so I started off by just saying like how this is like non-monogamy or ethical non-monogamy, which is what Omarion had called it
Yes.
in his interview with Sherry. And I had never heard it termed like that.
So Hollywood.
Um, I mean,
Yeah.
it's real fancy.
Hmm. Right, justifying bullshit, idiots.
I mean, it's a threesome. It's approved
Yeah.
cheating. I don't
Yeah.
know what you want to call it. I mean, we can do this all night, coming up with different ways on what to call it. And I also told him because that I am me personally,
Yes.
I enjoy monogamy. So I enjoy one person. I don't
Yes.
I don't want to share. Um I don't know. I don't want to say I'll get jealous or anything like that. I just don't want to share. So
Mhm.
jealousy is not even
Yeah.
a factor. I just don't want to share. I don't want to share my partner. I want you to
Hmm.
myself, and you
Hmm.
have all of me. But that doesn't mean that
Yeah,
just what works for me works for
absolutely.
everybody else. And so this is where the conversation is, like, open to for discussion, because everything isn't for everybody. And I know that just following the post that's on Naughty Kitty Bermuda, and they were pretty close. We had 28 people say that they are open
Hmm.
to exploring, or I can't remember what the option was. Like, they're open
Yeah,
to opening up
yeah.
their relationship, or they're open to trying it, to having an open relationship. And then it was like 28 to 31, and 31
Wow, that's
people
pretty
said they're
close.
not
That's
sharing,
pretty
they're
close. It's
not
like
into
half and
it.
half.
That is close, because it is half and half, damn near. And there was three people that voted that that is their lifestyle now.
Mm.
So
That they're
we had three
already
people that
doing that.
admitted
Yeah,
that this is how
yeah.
this is what they're already doing. We had 28 people that are curious. They're thinking, and I find that well, not a lot, but some
Hmm.
of my followers, like, after divorce, they're
All of
like,
that
I don't
again.
think I want to get
Yeah, yeah. No,
into
I
a
get it.
relationship again. I think I
Similar.
just wanna kind of be by myself and enjoy
A
the perks
relationship.
of
Yeah, whenever I
maybe a
want. Yeah, yeah.
couple.
And I
Yes,
get it.
yes. So I have I have had that.
My
What's your
thoughts
what's your
is, well, for
thoughts?
me personally, it's not my thing, but I think um, it's still important to talk about it because I think people should be empowered with knowledge so that if they are into any of these explorative discovery relationships, they can make profound decisions because you still have to be respectful of your body. And I think if you're going to invite somebody to your bedroom, you should always do it in a safe way. So, set those boundaries, make sure people are getting checked. If you're going to bring somebody into the bedroom, make sure that it's not just all about the fun. Do your homework on these people as well, because you would hate to have one night of pleasure and the rest of your life be scarred because of one night of pleasure. So, and obviously, the more partners, we learned this in high school, in health and education, the more partners you have, the more increased risk you are at sexually transmitted diseases. So, first and foremost, make sure that you do your homework on whoever you are inviting into your bedroom, and that they have the same hygiene and cleanliness that you carry with your body, and then also to, I guess, make sure you understand the boundaries. Is it someone who's you're just inviting into the bedroom for a bit of fun, and that um actually have a consistent partner
So I want to
in the
interject.
relationship?
I
Yeah.
want to interject right there. So I'm going to interject right there, and anybody, any of the those that are here, you can correct me. But I do think that when they invite someone into the bedroom, like, that's just
Okay.
pretty much considered to be a threesome. Um, but then
They want to
if there's someone that,
consistently have.
for example, that they bring into the relationship, then that's like
Right.
the poly
Right.
lifestyle.
But that's the key
Um,
word, lifestyle. It's
just
it's the lifestyle. It's not a one-off. It's just what they
lifestyle.
do. We see the talk shows. They have the reality shows where I don't know how many, but I know I've seen one where they actually are living together, and having an open,
Mhm.
there's even been women having two men, and it's an open lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think that's where the boundaries and setting what your boundaries are or what you will allow. Because I saw a video with one of Nick Cannon's baby mothers, or and slash girlfriend. And she was saying that, during the holidays, sometimes she wishes that her child could go with that person and with him during their vacation, because she's like, oh wow, so and so would have liked to go there. And she understands that she can't go, but she would
Mm-hmm.
like if her child would go during the holidays. And I was like, so to me, that indicates that he has favorites, because he can't take them all on a holiday,
He can do whatever he
apparently.
likes because he has them all. It just comes down to, I just think that a lot of these women, I in his situation, I think that they're faking the funk and just
But
going along to
what I'm
on.
saying
I don't,
is, what I'm
because
saying
they're
is,
even being
what
honest.
I'm saying is, what I'm saying is,
But
Have,
I heard her
what I'm
say,
have
trying to
I
one
heard
of
say
her
is,
keep saying, I don't know if it's a dub plate, but I heard her keep saying what I'm saying is, but I'm not talking, so maybe it was a tactical glitch.
okay, so, but no, I was cut off, so I didn't even get to finish my point. But what I'm saying is that, um, what I'm saying is that
oh God.
he obviously has a favorite, because if you think of the holidays, you spend that with your family, right? So he's obviously chosen
Yeah.
one of the girls and their kids to spend the holidays with, for her to say she wishes her child would spend the holidays with him. So what I'm trying to say is,
With them.
polyamorous relationships are all fine and dandy, but people are still people. They're gonna have favorites. So are you ready to deal with that? Are you ready to deal with the fact that he may not choose to spend the holiday with you? He may say, Christmas, I'm gonna pick so and so. You get what I'm trying
Mm.
to say? And it's gonna be a hard pill to
Yeah.
swallow, because nobody wants to be alone on the
Yeah.
holidays. They want to be with their family, their lover. That's my point.
And well, I just want to say, so I'm seeing different types. So like when you talk about
Hmm.
what's his name, Nick Cannon? So he practices it in like different households. Like they all know of each other, but they're all
Exactly.
not under one household. Whereas
They're all
Neo,
together.
well, I believe that when you see them, they're all together, and it's like it's a totally
Hmm.
different dynamic because I know for me, I was just like, well, who do you wake up with? Like if there's two, who do you stay
And,
with?
and
And
so like
like I got
from
all these
some so
questions.
like obviously polyamorous relationships have been going for donkey's years, since the Bible times. When Abraham had two wives, his two wives were with him in his household. They traveled with him, and you know what I mean? So typically, or from the beginning of time, polyamorous relationships, you were in one house, you were under one roof. So these separate families here,
Mm,
there, and there, that's a whole different dynamic. And it's like you can't be in two places at one time. So that's the kind of the downside of it.
yeah,
If you're not got this massive, court, city guards, city gates of a house, for you to have everybody under one sort of roof or under one, acre of land, if you ain't got that and everyone's in different houses, you can't be everywhere at once.
yeah. So do y'all think like when we talk about it and and then we bring Bermuda, we add Bermuda to it because we see how over in the States it just everything's always so much more advanced or acceptable and so like they but then you get here and then we are still very traditional with a lot of things and a bit dated in comparison to the States. And that's just what it is. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just what it is. Um, we live a totally different lifestyle and that's okay. But there are so many there are so many Bermudians that seem to want I don't want to say so many, but there are Bermudians that want to take part in this lifestyle. But of course, with the close community
Yeah.
and everybody knowing everybody is actually it's hard to live that lifestyle without so much judgment. People are in fear of their job, how your job judges you, and you know, um, like what's your thoughts on that? Or
No, I
No,
think,
nothing.
yeah,
Either one of you.
I think people are just afraid of the judgment. It's so small, and I think people, you look at anything that is scandalous in Bermuda, you gotta forward that on WhatsApp, and it says forwarded many times. You know what I mean? Like it goes around Bermuda. The minute somebody would get wind of it, I think your business would be all out on the streets, and I think people are just afraid of that, and rightfully so.
Well, yep, that, and I know I never personally thought of it, but I remember when we was gonna have our event for speed dating. Um, I remember a woman texting me and saying how like the the judgment
Yeah,
is just like really, really bad her, and she works in corporate. She doesn't know
really.
how they were gonna feel about it. And she referred to she she praised me for what I was trying to do, but she was just like, but my
Mm,
playground is over in the States. Like my
wow.
playground could never be her. And, and so I was a bit taken back by that because I'm like, there are quite a few bit of people here that are
Mhm.
there's a community of them that
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
probably just not privy to, um but they can't even
yeah,
be themselves here. Like they gotta
yeah.
wait till they get on a
Absolutely,
plane.
absolutely. I think Bermuda is still very conservative. I think it boils down to that. They and I shouldn't say conservative, but they are very private, so they don't want anyone to know. And I think it's because of the fear of being judged. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing.
And BK, you're
Yeah.
quiet.
I'm
You
still
tapped
here.
out.
I'm just taking it.
Yeah.
Okay. With well, I also know if there's another angle to when it comes to this subject, and I don't want to disrespect,
Right.
but I also think of like Muslims, um, and how it's acceptable. It seems to be acceptable if
Mm-hmm.
you're Muslim, but it doesn't seem as acceptable if you just or you just like you just see it just seems to be so judged
Yeah.
if that's just your
I know
lifestyle.
for the Muslims, they have
You
to
know,
be able to afford as many wives as they take on. Um, so I know that they can't just be
I
doing it
have heard
for,
that.
sexual reasons. They have to be able to have the money to be able to take care of the that additional family and whatnot. So I know that, because actually, when I lived in England, I remember talking to a taxi driver, and he was just explaining his Muslim faith, and he said, I could take on another wife in my faith, but I can't afford it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I um I've definitely heard that as well. And then again, my questions is do they I don't know if I'm just being pokey or what, but it's
Yeah.
just I'm very curious, right? Like, do they live together?
Yeah,
Do they live
right.
separately? I remember when everybody was like so into buying roses. Everybody was so into buying roses, and let me tell y'all, these men buy too
Oh
much of
wow.
everything, a lot. Okay, and I remember just asking one of them. I'm like, "Yeah, you're like the third guy this week that's brought two. Like, do you have two girlfriends? Like, what's going on?" And he was just like,
Wow.
"Oh no, I've got two wives." And I was just like, "Oh," you so I was just kind of like taken back. And immediately it was just like, okay,
Yeah,
well then
yeah,
that's okay. I get
yeah.
it. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay. And I knew that he's Muslim, and so
Yeah,
Wow.
I
very
was
much
just like, all
And
right,
then
well,
for them.
great.
maybe.
I was just saying, it's very
What's
much a
that,
lifestyle for them.
Mika?
Yeah.
It is very much a lifestyle, but why is it like, I don't know. I just feel like, do you feel like when they're not in that lifestyle, when they're not, say like, part of the religion part of it, do you, I wouldn't even know. Do they feel more judged about it, which is why they're just so
Yeah.
maybe scared or feared by the community? I don't know, because
Yeah.
so many people want to be part of it. Like so many people, like I listened to Nia's interview, and I remember him
Mm,
saying, I wish I knew I was like this, or at least admitted to being
mm,
like this when I was younger, because I wouldn't have
yeah.
wasted so much time and
Yeah.
wasted so much
It's
women's
true,
time
for
and
sure.
because really
It's
hard.
real what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being honest with yourself.
No, that is real, right? Because then we're in these
Look, pretend.
relationships, and then like that is like monogamy,
And also
the
too, you know what is a
pretending.
big thing? And I don't know if you guys had similar in your families growing up, but I think family pressure is a big thing. Like just on how you live your life. Like you have some people that they're in careers because their parents wanted them to be in that career. They're with this type of person because they fit the mold that their family wanted them to have. You know what I mean? So I feel like so much people are living for other people's approval or living for other people's satisfaction. Like you hear about people saying, when they get older, like I'm finally doing this for me. And it's like we allow our family members or our beliefs or whatever it is sometimes to shape who we are when actually we want to go this way, or we didn't want to go into law but our parents wanted us to go in law because it's something structural or whatever the case may be. How many of us are living for other
Yeah,
people and truly for ourselves,
Mhm.
doing what
yeah,
we really want to do? Because at the end of the day, it's like you only have one life. This is your life. I'm not going to be up there, JD, with you and God when you're having your conversation with God. You're not going to be up there with me when I'm having my like what got our in accounting to go, what got our in what path to walk in life. It's no need to judge anybody. It's none of your business.
yeah. I often, well, I don't often, but I have thought about how marriage would be affected by, um, because like you can't marry both of them because that's
Mhm.
illegal. And so, but then I remember Nia making this really good point. Like
Mm,
it's already a shortage of men. And by the time you do all the deductions with those that are LGBTQ and those that
mm-hmm,
are in prison, and the numbers that we are left with,
mm-hmm.
y'all better get used to
Wow.
sharing.
Yeah,
Like that's how
very
Right.
bleak,
that's how
but
he put
he's
it.
speaking facts. But it doesn't mean you have to subscribe.
Is that, I mean,
It doesn't mean you have to
what's
subscribe.
that?
It doesn't mean that you have to subscribe to what his what his lifestyle is. Some people are just fine
Mm-hmm.
to not partake and just be single, because I think that it's you really should be able to take care of every woman, and and that's a Muslim thing, but a lot of these guys that are doing it for their for their flesh, whatever the case may be, and wanting to have the freedom of picking and choosing, they're not necessarily similar to Nick Cannon. If he is that immersed in a lifestyle, why can't they all be not necessarily in one house, but why can't they all come together? Because he does different photo shoots. He does pretty much, it's almost like 6 Thanksgivings and 7 Christmases, and you see the different photo shoots and stuff. So why can't you bring them all together for these
Mm-hmm.
occasions? So for one woman to say that, it means that these women are lacking, but they're making it seem like it's fulfilling. And Breeze talked about it on
They
the
pay
real
with
estate
them.
series. It's giving lies.
Mm-hmm.
You can be, that I don't think she's that comfortable with it because that's not the natural woman's design. And it's not just about one, it's got about 20.
Yeah.
His kids are weeks apart. He's just back to back to back, slanging, slamming, just doing whatever he wants. And they're all two in the line. You know, yeah, like
Just
Cam
slanging
Newton.
that thing all over the place.
Cam
Huh?
Newton, like, yeah.
You get
Everybody
some dick. You get some
everybody
dick. You get
everybody
some
gets a
dick.
kid out of the deal too. Some have multiple children for Nick. And
Every
that
and
Yeah.
so and they're like like one woman has a kid, then the other one has it, then this one has
Yeah.
the second one, and like
Like, are they in
the kids are in
competition with,
between
like,
each
well, I want to
other.
have this last baby, so let me go again. Like, it seems like they're all in competition with each other.
Yeah.
Question. I have a
I know
question for
that
you guys. Have
go
any of
ahead.
you guys been approached to be a part of someone's relationship?
relationship, no, threesome, yes.
Okay.
I did it before. I don't at least, and if I did, it definitely went over my head. But since doing the Naughty Kitty page, since doing like opening up these discussions and things like that, people just kind of like automatically assume
Done with
that,
this.
oh,
Right.
she must be down with it. Like, I mean, I've gotten comments from every facet. Like even when I go pick up my toys, like people at the post office, like, I know you guys have fun, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I saw these, right? Like
yeah.
I don't use every
That's
toy.
funny.
Like I can't test every toy. But they just kind of like
Yeah, yeah,
put that on you,
yeah.
and I'm okay. Um, and I've been approached very subtle in very subtle ways, So it's always like after a long conversation, then it's just like, so by the way, you know,
This
have you ever tried this? And I'm just like,
Yeah,
no, no, sir. My husband is not
yeah, yeah.
down, and neither am I. But yeah, um, I also I know that in order for that whole non-monogamy, I mean, communication is like hard
Yeah.
with one person. I can't imagine what it's like with two or three, or you know what I mean? Like that's another contributing factor that I
Imagine
feel
having
like has to be
to
talked
repeat
mm-hmm.
to
your
when this.
day. Yes, I went this place. Yes, I went this way. Like, that's too much.
I wish we could have had someone that actually. I did talk to one girl, but she's on a plane
Okay.
tonight, so she couldn't make it on the live. I was hoping that she would have came in, and we all know that our friend ain't coming in tonight.
You
Uh,
think it's gonna pop on?
yeah,
You might surprise her. You
boy.
might
Yeah. But everybody's just so
like
quiet though.
that
They're not
right
even
there.
asking
Are
any
you guys
questions. Do y'all have any
shy?
questions for us? They are they are really quiet.
They're
They are just
shy.
watching. We got Sheep 79, Love Tammy Jr., Q Al James, Jennifer Liam B. Toots. What's up? Like, tell us what you think. What's your last thoughts? Moosey, Sunkiss, Nikki. They've come, but they're not saying much. They're pretty much just listening to it. I would love to hear people's,
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess
What tips do you
experiences.
guys
Yeah, but
have, if any?
did you guys see my Naughty
Hmm.
Kitty, the responses? Some of the responses to it. It's like for the most part, like there were
Hmm.
some men that were getting like really, really hard. And the women were saying like, these men ain't ready to do this. They say that they're ready, but
Yeah,
damn
they
when a
don't like
woman
it.
does it,
And don't see it too
It's like,
often. You
oh
don't
no,
see it
no,
too
no, no,
often
no, no.
with women because of what we talked about last time, the double standard.
Right. And it is. I literally just had the conversation with my husband before I came on her because I was just like, well, I don't want to be getting on there talking about we stand firm on monogamy and
Mm-hmm.
that's my feeling and not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you're not
Mm-hmm.
monogamous,
Yeah.
but that's not your feeling. So he's like, of course I feel like that. I'm like, oh, okay, I just need to know that. So then I'm just like, but I also believe that that's just not very natural for a man. You
It takes a
literally
lot of
have to
discipline. I don't think it's
work.
natural for a man either.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes,
it
like
takes a lot of discipline.
discipline.
It's
Yeah.
really, I don't think
Why do you guys don't think it's natural? Like break it down to me.
because of their design. They're very much flesh driven, and it's just like a sport for them. They have that dirt leg, and a lot of times it just, it holds a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say
Never
I'm not saying that
all,
that's for
because
all
humans are
men.
applicable for
Never
sure. It's
all.
a lot.
But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
damn near all.
88%.
Damn near. Right. So like and him and I were having this conversation. So then he said to me, he was like, well, what male animal do you see
Monogamy. No.
just with
Pigeons, pigeons,
he was just
pigeons make for
like
life.
it's so then so and like he said, you're gonna have a very few, but when you think of
Yeah,
it as a whole, the
yeah.
majority of them, that's not that animal instinct is to they
Mm-hmm.
here's like you might see the females stay, but the males don't. They move on. So I was just like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but it's it's
you
it's
realize.
it's like
Yeah,
you
it's very
said, it's their makeup, right? Their
accepted. It
makeup
doesn't,
is
it's a
just
bitter
by
pill to swallow. It
design.
doesn't sound a feel good, but that's just the reality of it. And I
Yeah.
think that it probably won't become a thing
Yeah.
because we're just very, it's not a cookie cutter for Bermuda. It's not a one size fits all thing. We are just really, really small. And that smallness comes with a lot of judgment. Even it's natural to judge. Humans say we should. It's just natural. Humans judge each other. It's just something that it's just a part of us, even if it's subconsciously.
Yeah.
A lot of times we just tend to do it. You see somebody running across the street shouting, you may judge them, and you don't even know why. They could be running
Mm-hmm.
from somebody, but in someone else's mind, it could be, why are they running on the street like a lunatic? We just have these subconscious thoughts that just
Preconceived. Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we help these lot? So how do we help this group where we recognize that it's difficult because we have judgmental people in Bermuda, it's double standards. So how do we help people who want to do this? What is their first step in getting into this lifestyle?
I don't, before we get into that, I just wanted to say because you did talk about the safe sex and things like that. And that also came
Mm-hmm.
up on Naughty Kitty as well. And I remember one of the male followers saying to me, can you please let these people know that of course
Mm-hmm.
we practice safe sex? He's like, that's a given. Like that's not, it's like nobody's being irresponsible when they decide to bring up that person in the bedroom with the partner, you know. And it's okay to remind them. I always think it's good to let's put it out there, safe sex, use a condom, protect yourself and things like that. But again, this isn't like a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
followers are very mature people. Um, and so I do believe the lifestyle is
Mm-hmm.
taken very seriously when it's not just like we just want to
Yeah,
have a threesome because
yeah,
you
because
have
I
people that
know
just want to have
of
a threesome.
someone who did that and she ended up having a baby for her man in Bermuda. Like that. So.
Yeah. So another girl had came on and she was just like, it's bullshit. And couples did it. And she was like, and the baby was just born 2025. And I was just like, oh,
Wow.
okay. So obviously, no type of protection. Um, with that, they thought that they tried to, bring somebody into the relationship. And I don't know if the outside girl got pregnant, or I don't know who got pregnant. I just made that assumption, but there was a baby
Wow.
at the
Oh,
eventually. Yeah, yeah. So what was what was your question
I
again,
was just saying,
Bitcoin?
what is their first step into breaking into the lifestyle that they truly want to do?
freedom. That's the first step because that's
Yeah.
what you want to do. And, we can, it's no different than someone wanting to come out of the closet about their sexual preference. But like you said, when you're doing these to please other people, that's a large part of it as well. When it comes to this as well, you have to have the freedom to do what you want to do, regardless of what
Yeah.
anyone is. And a lot of people don't have the freedom because we're pretty much domesticated. We've been taught how to think, we've been taught how to act, we've just been taught.
Yeah.
And it's been ingrained in us. Even our children, we end up as parents and we tell our children, don't do this, don't do that, go to school. It's just this parrot list of how we should be conducting ourselves. So to go and break that mold and to go against it, you have to be willing to be free and say, you know what, this is what I want, and I want it enough to be able to set up something whereby it can come to fruition. And if people have respect and they move around in circles and it's discreet and stuff, then they can do it. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, a lot of people are probably doing it in Bermuda and have probably been doing it for years, and it's probably worked out okay. But you have to be very honest with yourself because it's very easy to say that you want to have this lifestyle. Even threesomes, a lot of times they end up in complete disasters just
Yeah.
off of one night. It could be a pregnancy one night, it could
Mm,
be an STD, it could be, person
mm,
he fell in love with the other because
Yeah.
this
Seen that a lot.
casual sex is not really casual. I always feel that, I always say that whenever I get a chance. I don't think there's any such thing as casual sex. After a while, it's just like, people say wash your child's clothes the first time before you put
Put
them
them
on.
on.
But the thing about it is, the first time you work,
put
once
him
you
on.
wash something, it's no second hand. It's just like with casual sex. It's not casual once you keep doing it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might be casual initially, but if you're doing it 3, 4 months and years and stuff, it's not casual. It's a
Yeah.
lifestyle. It's become a part
Yeah. Yeah.
of your
Yeah.
life.
You're absolutely
So
right.
this is really when it comes to that, like Kaylin said earlier, when it comes to favorites and things like that, people have to really sit down. A lot of times, people put the horse before the cart and don't, or the cart before the horse and don't have these conversations.
Yeah.
If this is what we're really going to do, how can we do it whereby it's, everyone's being respected, everybody feels valued
Yeah.
equally, and if not, you come back
Yeah.
to the round table. It just has to be a lot of ongoing communication
Communication.
and transparency,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Top
Yeah.
top tier communication. I definitely I mean, I follow pages um that are like Black Polly and things like that, as I try to make sure I
Mhm.
use the right terminology when I post and things and whatnot. Um and and it always they always show it, whereas it's like they show it like how Neo
Right.
is, like just all together. And I just don't know how it works when it's like in separate households or things like that. Like I see, I can't
Yeah.
wrap my head around that. Under one roof, you're able to kind of like the three
Yes.
of you
Yeah.
almost decide, because it's just having like that third person in the household to make a decision with. And then it just gets so crazy because then like one woman has a baby, the other one has a baby, they're raising the children all together, and it does kind of like
Yeah.
leave me a bit
Yeah.
confused,
Very
like,
comfortable.
wow.
What is better though? Which one
Um,
do you think is creates less conflict? Separate houses or all under one roof, or at least close quarters? Which one do you think is better in terms of less conflict?
well, I definitely, like I said, I think when they're all under one roof, then it's almost like we all have an input. So it's like you don't have to second guess what's happening, what's going on. That you kind of, I'm assuming You all make decisions
Yeah.
together as the three
Yeah.
adults of the household. Just like how people that I hear a lot of them saying
Mm.
financially it works because everybody,
Mm-hmm.
they're pooling
Mm-hmm.
their monies together, and um, it just makes for a better
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle or easier
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, or you know what I mean. So definitely all in one house. But
Yeah.
again, I knew I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it in the dark. I can't do it in front of me.
I
I
agree. I
just couldn't do
agree. I think
it.
I would probably it would have to be all under one household because I would like the minute he don't answer his phone, I'd be like, is he with her? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I would.
But that's the thing. They say that they don't hold that jealousy. That's what I mean. That's what That's supposed to be like. Oh, I don't care what's going on with them, or
Well,
I
if you
I don't know.
call and he doesn't
Mm.
answer, you're gonna wonder where he is. And if he ain't told you where he is, you know what I mean? I think that
Some women don't
I don't believe
care.
that because what happens when his like it will never say says again, or if says house is closer and it's snowing tonight or it's cold tonight, you know what I mean? Like he can get in trouble or what? I just feel like it's gonna be a situation where it's something's gonna be more convenient. Like I think one of his baby mothers, Nick Cannon, works with him on his show. She's like the DJ on his show. Like, so of course he sees her every day. Like, they're gonna have a, you know what I mean? And I think that's the one he spent the holiday with. So naturally, they're gonna be closer because not only are they together, but they do business together.
I don't know. Nick Cannon's is
mhm, that's
just
what
wild.
I do. I think that it depends on the level of maturity and emotional intelligence for the people involved because Kaylin said that she would wonder where he is, but you in that type of relationship, in order for it to for them, for everyone to coexist harmoniously, you need to be able to be at a level where that doesn't even matter because it doesn't really matter where he is because he's
It
sharing, you're
doesn't
both sharing him
matter.
regardless. So whether he
Right.
corner store or really is at her house,
It's
if you're in the house with them or out of the house with them, if you don't have a firm grip on this whole dynamic, it's going to be a problem. Get in the house under the same roof or
that
in
you
another
agree
corner because
to.
you're going to be insecure. In your face, it might be too much. Out of your face, you
Yeah.
might start, do too much thinking. So it just really takes a lot of grit. So whoever's doing it, and it's okay, I think that they would thrive with the proper mindset
Yeah.
inside or outside, because at the end of the day, you have to have a sense of, your own autonomy and just being able to be separate from this person, because this person is most likely never going to be committed to just you. It's always going to be a piece of something, even if you're in the house. He cannot, it's just like a guy who has a number of children for multiple women. You cannot be everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't be everywhere doing everything. There's going to be a compromise. There is a compromise. It's the compromise of a traditional household versus, splitting or just spread out.
Yeah.
So in this situation, you have to be willing to be so firm in who you are as an individual. Like, yes, this is what I chose, but I'll be fine. I'll be fine if he spends more time there. I'll be fine if he is over her more and then decides to do whatever. And
Confidence
if
is
you're
gonna be
not
key.
willing to speak on it, and then just because everything may not go your way. It's just a lot of compromising for the woman as usual, and the guy just has just like the pick of the creme de la creme. It's a win-win for him, regardless. And the average
Yeah.
woman, that's not the makeup. So I feel like they are adapting and trying to make it work. Of course, that's not a blanket statement, but like we said, just like with guys, well, X amount are just used to or want to pursue or be intimate with more than one woman, single relationship or whatever. That is the same thing. That's not women's design. So to assure someone, you have to have grit. Either you're really built for that life or you're trying to be built for it, but it always comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody said a level of trust
Yes.
and mutual understanding is imperative. And then a gentleman said
It really is.
it's such a big umbrella with open relationships.
The
and like we're
surface.
just touching
Mhm.
some just the surface. Like we're
Absolutely.
not even diving deep yet. Definitely just the surface. And then she also said there will always be a sense of
Mm-hmm.
jealousy as that's human nature, but constant communication and reassurance is a recipe
Yes.
to build
Yes.
trust
Mhm.
Which is
and a
what
lot
you
of
were saying.
comfortability.
Top tier
So
communication and we also doing it. Yeah,
top
touched on it.
tier communication, top tier. I mean, God, I mean, communication is communication. We all
Yeah.
communicate so different. Like my husband and I so communicate so different, and so I don't want to say it's a challenge, but we
Yeah.
have been challenged by it. Um, we communicate different. We understand things different. Like we can look at the same thing. We'll leave an event and have different views on it and things like that. But so I could only
Right.
imagine when you
A
ask
whole nother
somebody,
human being. It's totally challenging. I think it's going to be challenging for men and for women to deal with somebody a totally different gender. You know, yeah, it's
yeah,
just something you have to get used to. You have to be open to learning. Like a lot of times women think they know men and men think they know women, but there's so much to unpack there, just like this topic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just knowing what they represent, who they are, and how to circumvent your journey with them. Because a lot of men may not be equipped to deal with this. They want the perks. Just like how a lot of guys want to be polyamorous, be willing to pay for every
they
woman
want the
that you want to
part.
be involved with, like
Yeah.
lift doors to some degree. I believe that if you want to live like a Muslim, then have the Muslim funds.
Yes. Yeah. And also
Right.
too, you need to be able to,
Yeah.
it's like if you're not good at communication, maybe sit this one out.
Hmm.
Like sit this one out because she's gonna need communication.
Yeah,
Until you
it's
bring your communication up to par, don't even try it. If you don't like telling them everything you're doing for the day, sit this one out. Oh, well, why I'm gonna tell you I'm home now? Sit this one out. Mm-mm.
well, I don't. A lot of a lot of guys with that, and that's the being with stuff like that, it doesn't matter because why do I have to tell you where I'm going? And there's a whole another woman here that's sliding over my face and stuff. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, why do I have to tell you where I'm going? It's a whole another woman in our relationship.
I
So
I
I don't.
don't know.
I don't
Maybe I'm still speaking from a monogamous
hmm.
viewpoint because, yeah, because
Point of
I,
view.
I would want to be told what's going on, where you're going, what time should I expect you, what time you're picking up the kids. That's just me. I like that in anything, in any relationship, friendship. I'm a planner. I like to know what time you're coming, what time should I be ready. That's just me.
I understand that, but when you
Yeah.
said that, I just figured you meant maybe reassurance from the man. If the woman's not in the house, what he's doing when he's outside the house as it pertains to her. Not across the board, not generally, but just as it pertains to this sort of dynamic. Hey, I'm going out, or meaning like I took it that okay, letting A know I'm going out, but A that means I'm going over to B's house or I'm going to B and C's house. You know,
Regardless, whether you get grocery shopping or eat groceries.
yeah, I think
I
that I think that
communicate.
there should be a level of
Communication.
communication, but just what I thought where I thought you were going with it. But yeah, they should be willing to communicate.
Yeah. And, and some guys, they are not good at communicating. Point blank, period.
Don't come back to my
But
house if you're gonna eat
when
somebody
you when
else's
you
food.
give a guy that much freedom, you can really create a monster because it's like, will they really feel that they have to be so forthcoming when they just have the key to the kingdom? So, but like you said, there's so much to unpack. This is just the surface because that's a whole nother topic. We can go on about this.
But then
So,
I feel
June.
like
It's
their
good
intentions aren't good
because
because I
some
feel like if you truly are like, this is what will make me happy, you should want the people in the relationship to be happy and comfortable as well. You should have some sort of respect and decorum for them to, not to be just caring about it. Well, this is what I wanted. This is what you signed up for. I'm gonna explain myself to you. You know what I mean? There should be some sort of respect for the people that are involved in it.
Right, right, and that's where the emotional intelligence comes in because some guys don't even share that level of respect to one woman. So yeah, Those depend on the maturity.
Yeah.
You see, another comment said it's been expressed that practicing ethical non-monogamy helps with great communication. Personal,
Mm,
that's her personal observation.
I could see that.
Um, yeah, I mean,
Good point.
like you said, it was, the number one thing. And yeah, you would have to be a great communicator. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna practice being a great communicator in this monogamous situation. How about that?
Yup.
It's for who it's for, that's for sure. Because there are people around the world totally
It's
happy
for
with it right now as we
it's
speak.
really for who it's
It's
for.
marketing for them. Yeah.
It's for who it's for. I know there is I mean, there is this
No.
Yeah.
space. Y'all heard my dog? Uh, he's he's whining. There is a space here that I don't want to just kind of like put them out there or whatever, but there is a space that people can go to be part of the
Mm,
community. Um, but it doesn't. It's not like you just go there and like just start swinging or anything like that. Like it's it's
Mm-hmm.
it's
yeah.
it's levels to it. They do different different
Yes.
nights
I know what
and
you're talking
events,
about. Yes.
and then you
Yeah.
a space. You gradually then build a trust
Right.
with like-minded people, and then you just kind of
Yeah.
like
I done a
go on with it.
nude art event there. It is-
Mm,
yeah. I can't draw.
okay, I know that.
That's what I found out.
I know that when we were having our speed dating event,
Hmm.
which was 2+1, and we had couples looking for single women to join the relationship. Um, it was close to 70
Wow.
something people that had signed up. Um, but it was just so awkward because, and I say 70, whereas like 15
Hmm.
couples, so that was like
Hmm.
already 30 people there, 15, 20 couples. But as the time got closer, like, oh, I'm gonna have to pull out, I'm going away. And oh, my girlfriend's sick, so we're not gonna have to come, and like
Really?
all the
So
excuses and just started to trickle in, and I think I was down to like 11
Yeah.
couples, which was still good. And I can't remember what exactly happened or why I didn't have it, but I don't know.
Right.
I can't remember right now, but I just knew that when I try to put an event together, it like kicks off
Yeah.
because
The
the
initial thought
idea
is like, yes, this is what
is
I want to
so
great.
do.
sets
The
in.
initial thought is this is what I'm this is what I wanted to do. We could go meet people. Finally, Bermuda's opening up. And then as it gets closer,
Yeah.
Because
y'all
Bermuda's
be
not
Maybe
pulling
opening
they're
up.
up.
hearing
There's a lot
people
to figure
talk
out.
about it. Maybe they're hearing people talk about it. But I always say, well, if the only page or if they start a post, that means that someone interested themselves. Or w- people say, well, I don't want nobody I know see me. Well, the person you know is there too. And apparently, like,
So that was the thing. Is like, but you're all here as a community. And it
yeah,
was a masquerade event. Let me say that. It was a masquerade event. So
yes.
you wouldn't have been noticed
Yeah.
right away. But people were concerned.
Mhm.
Fair Bermuda is real for people here. Yeah. People were concerned of bumping into a
The parent,
cousin or, and I'm just like,
you just never know.
I didn't see you. You didn't see me.
yeah, because
Goodbye.
I don't
Nice
know
seeing you.
who's,
Good
That's
night.
the reality of it, unfortunately.
and I'm the total opposite. I will probably
But
be like,
Yeah,
like I
cousin,
would, that would probably make me feel more comfortable. I'm like, hey, this is Sage,
girl, you never wrong
right?
in
That
our
would make me feel
blood.
comfortable seeing a familiar face.
Cousin. Yeah. So yeah, so that it ended up being a big letdown, and I
Mm-hmm.
tried it twice. I tried it twice, and the second time was worse than the first time. So the first time I felt it was a lot more promising, and I was just like, oh wow, this is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
great. Like this is awesome. And then the second time is like
I think it
it's just
has
got worse
to,
and
I
worse.
think
So
it could
I
be
will not
done. I think
be
it could be
trying to do
done,
it again.
but we just have to just work out the confidentiality of it. Like you just have to have it down pat. Like you don't get the location until the night of. Like no funny business.
So they didn't get it
Hmm?
until the night of. They didn't get it to the
Yeah.
night. They didn't get
Yeah.
it. They wouldn't have got it to the night of.
you had to set up.
The whole setup
Yeah.
was to
Mm-hmm.
protect was
Mm-hmm.
to
Tentative.
protect
Yeah.
the I mean it was valet where you got
Mm-hmm.
right to the door. You wasn't walking across a street or a yard or when people saw you got right to the door and we
And
had
how long
valet
ago
parking
was
set
this?
up and everything. This was
Okay,
in
that's a few years now. People
2023.
wasn't ready. Might be a bit more ready now, but if you're really
Yeah.
Maybe,
valid,
but
it's
yeah, yeah,
something
they
that
might be.
you
Yeah.
will keep.
Keep
Yeah,
trying. Keep trying. That's what I
keep at it.
say.
If it's something that you're really into and you have the resources to put it together, you do it. And it just takes a few more tries. But if that's not,
Time
for
will
that,
come.
that might not be a
Yeah.
thing for you to put a lot of effort into because you have you have other things going on. But if somebody makes that their full time thing, it might be able to pop off, even if it's just a few. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. It's just basically fulfilling a need or a desire for whoever wants to partake in that lifestyle. You know
Yeah.
whether it's three, bringing someone
Yeah.
into a relationship, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really need to add another island on, I guess, for that because I don't see it becoming a full fledged, maybe an adventure and again, but to actually say, dances over her living with, you know what I mean, Kevin and Shanika. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 Somebody else
Shanika ain't
get put
gonna
on a
make it.
t-shirt.
She this is it. I mean, have any of the hosts had a threesome if they wish to share? Have you had a
Right, right. That's a good one. His feelings up.
I've never
I
had a
feel so
threesome. I've never
boring.
had a
I haven't
threesome.
had one. I
What
haven't had
she
one.
feels so boring like V2D and none of us say it's like
No, because I wanted to be a cool host and be like, yes, yes,
no.
on it, zipping and zooming it, just like Wendy Williams used to
That'll
say,
be a
zipping
poll
and
with the
doing
Yes.
it.
different follows.
Well, the hot question is when it comes to a threesome, there's women that want it with two men. Is that a
It's
threesome
a
or a
threesome
train?
to
I
her
think
A
God
it's
Kelly.
train.
I think it's a threesome because I have a friend who his ace boy asked to do it with them with her and her man. So and I was like, I think he's probably doing it for the man and you're just a business.
Definitely an innocent spectator.
Yeah.
So that's why they say it's like a train because it's like most men are like, I'm not gonna be in the same bed with another man and touch him because so like this is what they'll say. A threesome is when everybody touches one another. This and let me
Hmm.
just say this is not my thoughts or this is just what I gathered from the followers.
Hmm.
All the people in the back. This is what y'all be saying. Um, Train is your boy watching outside for his turn. Absolutely. That's how I thought a train was operated and how it went on. But they say that when a woman sleeps with two men, that it's a train, and that if it was a threesome, that everybody would touch each
I
other.
think it depends. I think if a guy or yeah, I think if a guy is asking for another guy to
It's a
join.
threesome is
It's a
three people.
threesome.
But
I don't care what he tells you. It's a threesome. They will be touching. Don't be fooled. Behind this closed doors, they're touching.
yeah,
Well, we're gonna run that poll
but
tomorrow, and
still,
we will let
three
y'all
people.
know
It's three people, and
what
that's
Yep.
the
the threesome.
people
It's three
think.
people engaged together.
Exactly.
Somebody's
Exactly.
watching because maybe a man's pleasuring himself, looking at the male and the female doing the thing. Like it's a sexual act, and three people are partaking in some shape or form. So that's
And
the threesome.
and Mike, yes, and Mike, if you're watching, if you say like, okay, you like another guy with your woman or whatever, and you're watching, that means that something on that man you're attracted to. Something on that man is sexy for you to want him to do something with your wife or your girlfriend. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, don't deny it. It's something about him that you want to see
Right.
him do
That
that.
could be a
Yeah.
closet section because I think it's more common for men to want two women as opposed to a man wanting another man to sleep with his woman. Men are so territorial and they really don't like it. I mean,
It
if you ask the
happens.
average man,
It
he would
happens a lot.
say,
I heard about it a lot in Bermuda. A lot in Bermuda. So many men want other men to
but
and want to be able to watch.
I was saying it could be, they could be secretly bisexual. Not saying all, but that could be a thing for them. It probably is a lot of people that are doing it,
Yeah.
and for females too. Women may want their partner to, be with another woman just to see.
Yeah.
Because some women say, I don't do anything. You have your
That
fun.
can cause
I
a
have a friend who
problem.
said it. Like, he can have his fun. I'll watch.
Somebody said that can cause a problem in your
No
relationship. What can
problems.
cause a
The
problem in your
subject is
relationship?
problematic.
What? Not to those living it,
Thank you, girl. I'm just
and
throwing that out to
because
you, silly. But you're
the
absolutely right.
like,
Like you said, they have a
and because like it's a problem.
But yeah,
It's definitely subjective.
they're right.
Yeah,
That commenter is right. Okay, it's the person.
that can cause a problem in your relationship. I want him to tell me what
They
exactly.
can, yeah.
Oh, a
We
threesome.
spoke
Yeah,
about that earlier. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a risk.
definitely.
It's a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wonder if he's had a threesome before, and that's
Personal
why he's
experience.
saying that. Are are you talking from personal
Have you had to
experiences, sir?
learn the hard way? She won't stop calling now. Now she won't stop calling.
Or remember the other guy? Remember the other guy? He was
Yeah.
like, "Well, I know a friend, and he slept with the girl, and oh, he wants to be in the video. Okay, great.
You see the time?
Yep. I'm just gonna let it run until we could.
Yeah, that's
If you
fine.
gotta go,
I'll
it's okay.
if I,
Well, hello.
Hi, boo.
Okay. Hi.
No, I have never had a threesome.
Okay.
I think that could cause a lot of problems in a relationship, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like me personally, I wouldn't want my
Mm,
girl, me with another guy and another girl, or me and another girl and my girl. Because who says that I'm not going to find her more attractive or my girl's not going to find the guy more attractive and when I'm not around, they're going to be doing stuff or vice versa.
And it
So
happens. Yeah.
that's
right.
my personal
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Mm. But have you ever been with a woman that actually was
Yeah, and
cheating?
I'm
Can you
telling no,
explain
it's
that?
not. I'm selfish. I am very selfish. You want to do that? Check you later.
Mm,
Go have fun.
Hear her.
So
mm.
I ain't doing that shit.
No.
So
Huh?
you're for monogamy.
Listen,
You're
I am
so
selfish when
committed
it
to
comes to my women,
monogamy.
okay? I don't
They
share.
did now.
I
Me
don't share.
too.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you.
Me too. I love that. I love
Yeah,
And I
that.
like
because
that
That's
it's
good.
not just a double
So
standard with a
have you
guy. I
no,
like
no,
that his
no,
like even
no,
with a
no,
woman, I wouldn't want that, even if it was another
no
woman.
way. Because like I said, with that situation, who says that I take a trip or whatever, and just because we did it once, she's now intrigued and wants to go back there. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's secrets because she ain't gonna outright tell me that she slept with him,
Mm.
and vice versa. You're gonna, and it's Bermuda, so you're gonna find out somehow.
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
way, somehow. That's the thing. And so do you think with Bermuda being so small, that's why a lot of these people that want to be in open
Yes,
relationships
definitely.
don't explore?
100% yes.
Yes.
100%
It's
We
yes.
fear
is
being judged.
yeah,
Listen, you be. Let me show you. When I was
we
living
fear
in
being
England, you
judged.
would be surprised the amount of stuff that was happening out there that you would be like, she can't be Bermudian. And I'm like, yeah, it's just getting out of Bermuda and exploring how you want to explore without
Right.
being looked at.
Right.
Because
Wow.
Like when I
you
was
were
like
Right.
you ever see?
Like
like when I was living in England, for instance, right? I'm been at a club. I'm watching people come out to nightclubs in Crocs, beat up shoes. In Bermuda, you're getting perked, this, everything because of how you dress. They don't
Yeah.
care out there. They're having fun. They ain't worrying about how and who's looking.
And I love that about England. I love that about
Yes,
mm,
England.
yes.
You could do whatever, wear
And
whatever.
nobody's going to judge you.
Nobody's looking at you. Nobody cares.
Bermuda's too
Outside of
shallow-minded. People
Bermuda,
judge over everything.
it's the states. It's an outside of Bermuda thing. It's
Yes.
everywhere
Yeah,
else other than Bermuda.
Yeah.
Whatever they like.
people are very too shallow-minded. They judge over everything. They judge because you're not got a haircut at this time, or your nails ain't done, or
Yep.
any little thing.
Yep. I remember when I first came back to Bermuda, I was catching the bus, walking and catching the bus everywhere. And Bermuda's a small island.
if if we
If
get
you,
cut out, I'm gonna just
and Bermuda's
reconnect.
a
So,
Is it? Can
small
you hear
ladies,
me?
island.
enjoy. I
Sorry.
have to go back to work.
Okay.
I love you guys. Have fun.
Yes. How about babes?
Later.
Thank you
Okay.
for
But
joining.
But I remember her in a room about myself
Mhm.
when it wasn't a room, that was true, saying, "Oh my gosh, she don't even have a car." And I was literally saving up so I wouldn't have to get a loan to buy a car. And it took me a year, but I bought my car
Right.
outright. And but yeah, it was rumors like not rumors. People were talking about me because I was catching a bus and walking everywhere. And I'm like, I don't want to take out a loan. I want to be able to save up my money and buy
Mm,
a car. But people literally will talk about you about any and everything.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. All right. So this last comment saying having that apprehension then is the exact reason why a couple would not pursue ethical non-monogamy type
Hmm.
activities, and that's okay. Yeah. It's just what it is. I think we all knew it, and it just like remember when we talked a couple of weeks ago, and began. I was just like, well, when did it change? Remember I was talking about the double standards, and I was like, well, when did it change? And you're like, well, when we got more rights, this is what happened, and this is how we evolved, and things like that. And so it's the same thing with this. Is like when will it change? When will the tradition or the outlook or the judgment,
I feel
you
like it's
know what I mean?
slowly
So it's
happening,
like,
but it's just a
especially in
gradual,
Bermuda.
slow process. Because if you go back a couple of years ago, you wouldn't have seen LGBTQ parade, in, every year, and now we have that. I just feel like gradually and
Yeah,
slowly it will change, gradually and slowly,
yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes it may be too slow
Well,
for people's liking.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming on here and having this discussion. Um, and I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We have, and because you have a page, what's your page name?
Um, I wasn't prepared to get into that right now, so we can table that.
Oh, really?
No,
You
I
don't
just wasn't
want to put
prepared
it
to
out
at this
there?
point in
Okay,
time.
cool.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, stay
okay. I'm sorry.
tuned
I'm
then, guys.
sorry. Yeah, definitely stay tuned. I guess and Bika could drop that information next time so that y'all can go ahead and follow her on her page. Um, and yeah,
Amen.
see y'all
See you
next week.
next
Same
week,
time, same
guys.
place.
Thanks for joining.